Have you ever wondered what's the difference between a UX designer, UI designer, product designer, and a UX researcher? If you have been confused with these words because most companies use the different name for same type of job, you are not alone. In today's video, I'll help you understand what are all these roles and where you might fit into the UX world by understanding what each of these roles do, right? Or what is the specialty of this role. Hey everyone, my name is Rohan Mishra. I've been a designer for last 10 plus years, and in this journey, I've worked with great brands in India as well as 50 plus brands abroad. Now, I'm here to make your UX design journey much more clearer and actionable. So if you're starting in UI UX design or you're switching for any other career, with this video, you'll be able to make sense of the different job titles that you see and the job descriptions that come with it. So let's start with the most common one and build our way up. So let's start with core design roles. Let's start with UX designers. These are all-rounders. UX designers focus on users' experience by doing research, mapping the journey, wireframing, prototyping, and collaborating with the developers. Think of them as the user's advocate in the business. Second, UI designer. These folks focus purely on the UI design or the visuals of the product. So colors, typography, spacing, and micro interactions. So if you've got an eye for detail and love designing interfaces, this could be your role. Now, the UI UX designer, it's the hybrid, and this is the most common one that you will find across industries, and especially in India, this is the one that is most common. You are expected to handle both UX side of things and UI side of things as well. So you need to care about the experience of the user as a whole and still focus on the polishing the UI so that it gets communicated to the users. It is great for generalists, and most of the roles are actually for UI UX designers, even if they are advertising as UX designers. Another core role in UI UX design is of a product designer, and this is one of the most misunderstood ones because product designer as a role were associated with people who were designing furnitures or physical products, but that has changed a bit in the recent times. A product designer is a person who goes beyond the visuals. They also care about UX, but they also have a product thinking or a business mindset to it. So think of this person as a whole package. And why did we need product designers? So earlier what was happening in big companies was there were people who were focused on UI design, there were people who were focused on UX, there were people who were focused on strategy. But what was happening because of the exchange of data, a lot of it was getting lost in the communication. So they said that we'll have one designer who takes care of the entire flow. These are generalists who will understand the UX well, UI well, and also can communicate with the product managers and the business people to consider their side and build the product. So one person, one product, and that is why these guys are called product designers. So they go all the way from problem discovery, which might require tons of research, to all the way to handoffs. And even after the handoff is done and the product is live, they will track metrics and understand what to improve upon. Now, let's move on to the second big category, which is the research and strategy role. We'll start with UX researcher. Their job is to bring tons of insights about who our users are, what are they doing, what are they struggling with, so that the UI UX designers can design better interfaces which solves real problem. Now, next one is a UX strategist role. These roles are people who are thinking of long term of how the designs are actually contributing to the business, and you'll see them at a higher positions or mostly doing consulting because they are focused on how the designs that we are making is going to benefit the business in the long run. Next one is a content strategist. This person is focused on the information architecture, how things are structured, labeled, and accessed, and mostly available in companies where there is a text heavy app, website, or any sort of platform. Last one is a service designer. A service designer is a person who looks at the end-to-end experiences, both online and offline. So it moves a little bit towards customer experience instead of just UX. So if you know, customer experience is the big umbrella. Inside that lies the UX design. Now, service designer actually looks at the interaction of all sorts, any kind of touch point that the user goes through, whether it is a physical touch point or a digital touch point. They actually go ahead and design for those things. Even they go even further into doing the design for the internal team, that what we need to do internally and what will happen on the customer's end. Now, one thing to note here is strategy roles are great for people who loves patterns, who loves to understand user behavior, and who are concerned with the business impact. Now, let's move on to the third big category, which is specialized design role. Now, we'll start with interaction designer. This person designs what happens or how the system gives you feedback when you do something. So for example, when you click on a button, what happens? So the person person is actually designing the feedback from the system to the user when the user interacts with it. So every click, drag, scroll, all the animations, transition, this is what the interaction designer is concerned with. Their job is to make sure that user gets feedback, they understand that something has happened, whether it is a system generated, which could be a warning, which could be like a small interaction, which helps user understand something has happened and the UI has given, or the interface has given them feedback. Now the next one is an information architect. Now this role is done mostly by a lot of the generalist UI UX designer roles, but earlier, think about this, that when you go to an e-commerce website, they have tons of products belonging to tons of different categories, but they structure it in a way that you can go to a men's category, look for a top wear, inside that you can find a t-shirt, right? But there's so many categories, so it can feel overwhelming. So earlier, the job of an information architect was to come up with a structure so that it doesn't feel overwhelming and every information in clubbed in such a way that they form the most intuitive navigations and people are easily able to navigate through it. The next job is of an illustrationist, or a person who creates illustrations. Now, most apps have solved for utility, which means that they are enabling people to do the goal that they were here for, whether it is ordering food, whether it is getting the cab for traveling, whether it is booking the flight tickets, whether it is booking the hotels. Now, the companies are moving towards delight so that they can attract the premium customers and charge them higher for the service. So that's why they need specialized illustration designer and icon designer so that they can create those delightful moments. And that's why these roles are specialized into creating the digital art, which could be in the form of illustrations, which could be in the form of icons and things like that. The next specialized role is of a motion designer. Now, motion designer, all those fancy animations that you see on products like Swiggy, Blinkit, Zomato, all these interactions of motion where they're trying to communicate you something is created by motion designers. Like, for example, cancelled order notification that Zomato gives to people. So there is this nice bag that animates on Zomato's interface. This is a job of a motion designer to create these kind of motions that are delightful, that convey a message, and that's what motion designers do. Next, very highly specialized role, but this is of a prototyper. These guys actually use products like Framer, Principle, or Code to get to a prototype which feels almost natural, so that before the company invests heavily into development of the UI, they can actually get real feedback from the users. Now, this is only available in very big companies where they have budgets to get a prototyper in place, but the job is to make sure that even the prototype before building the app or website looks so real that people can interact with it just the way they would interact with a product. And the last specialized role, which is very popular, is of a UX writer. Now, UX writer are the people who write the tiny copies on product, whether it is writing the text for the button, whether it is writing the headings, whether it is like writing the checkout page details. These people are concerned with writing the copy in such a way that users find it useful. They are able to navigate through the product easily with the help of copy, and they try to add a little bit of brand to it as well. So why this role exists is because if you look at it, the app is 60 to 70% copy, which is the text. Now, if this text goes wrong, it can actually make the users do the thing that they don't want to do. For example, we have seen is this delete pop-up where you don't know which one is going to delete it, which one is going to keep it, etc. That's where UX writers come in. They actually create copies which helps the user experience better, because if the users are able to understand what this particular thing will help them do, they will be able to do it more consciously, and this will overall be a great experience for the users. Now, here's the truth. All these roles will not exist in a lot of companies because now they are going for product designer or a UI UX designer roles, which are more generalized, where one person can take care of multiple specialized or research and strategy related roles. And the bigger reason for that is when the exchange of insights and information happen, they might miss on something, which will not happen so much if there is only one person taking care of the entire thing. Now, you will see a lot of the UI UX designers that are getting hired doing a bunch of these things, but you need to understand how these roles are different so that you can break down the job and understand what it is supposed to do. So one thing that can help you is, instead of obsessing over the titles, ask yourself these three questions. What do I want to do daily? Do I love visuals, strategies, or flows? What energizes me? Is it talking to the people and getting insights from them? Is it designing the interface? Is it making the illustrations? Whatever you want to do, there might be a specialized role just for you. So if you go for something like a UX writer, you might have lesser number of roles, but there are lesser number of people focusing on that. So you might make a great career in. If you found this UX titles breakdown, like the video, share it with a designer friend, and subscribe to the channel so that you can get more help in your UX career path. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep learning, keep designing.